before we do wrap up, just to ask our two panelists for their key takeaways, which is really just 1 or 2 points that you feel are of the utmost importance. Paul, we did hear from you first. Do you want to give us 1 or 2 of your final thoughts?
Sure. I think there's 2 key takeaways here. I mean, I think it's clear how broad the potential impact or actual impact of the statute is going to be. So, I mean, I think companies need to really start sitting down now and exploring the statute and exploring if they are covered or if they are going to be covered. And if they are covered or going to be covered, really start digging into data mapping and evaluating how they're going to start complying with the provisions once they take an effect. And the second is it will be very important to keep an eye on further legislative changes and California Attorney General's regulations.
Excellent. And Rebecca, some closing thoughts from yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Paul. I think for the CCPA, it's just one to watch. The Attorney General is going to be implementing regulations. Those are going to change the nature of the statute, and really by the legislature's intent are probably going to clarify some of the ambiguities. I think that it's a broad statute. Even businesses that may not intend to be gathering consumer information need to take a hard look at their practices and see what they need to do to comply. And then I'd also say, from the standpoint as companies are looking to kind of protect themselves in these class action lawsuits that we increasingly see over consumer data and breaches or alleged disclosures of consumer data, I think, we should watch the Supreme Court decision in Frank v. Gauss and see if they're going to lend some clarity to whether simply alleging a privacy harm, something in the vein of a public disclosure of private facts that didn't actually cause any actual harm, whether that can be sufficient to confer Article III standing. Of course, on the other side to that, if it's not enough to get you in federal court, we might just see more of these kind of cases in state court. And that would be an interesting fallout if the Supreme Court reaches that ruling in the Frank case.